Welcome to Bottle Grapes. I'm Krunch. Today I got a special guest for a lot of you restaurant and coffee shop owners. I have Benjamine Teas from Benjamine Teas. Benjamin, why don't you introduce yourself to the Bottle Grapes customers?
Okay. My name is Benjamin, and I am the owner of a gourmet tea company called Benjamine Tea, based in Chicago. Benjamine Tea started a little over 2 years ago, after I had lived in Europe for a few years, working on building coffee shops and cafes. In my work and in my travels, I stumbled across a boutique tea company in Vienna. They have been blending teas for over 300 years, and I fell in love with the product, and I decided to move back to the United States and distribute it. Now, when I speak with restaurant owners and managers of restaurants about tea, I'm very aware that tea is not their main line of business. But tea is nonetheless important for two reasons. Firstly, there is an uptrend of tea. More and more people are consuming tea. More and more people are educated and are conscious about what kind of tea they want, and they're demanding a higher end tea. And the second reason why tea is important for a restaurant is that it's the last detail of your dining experience. Studies show that customers will remember their first impression about a restaurant or their dinner experience and the last impression. And actually, they're going to remember their last impression the most.
And that's usually when they will get tea and coffee or that last bottle or that last glass of wine.
Correct.
After the meal.
Correct.
Okay.
After dinner, you're going to top it off either with a nice glass of wine or a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And if it is a cup of tea, then that's the last impression that you're leaving with your customer. It's the last taste, it's the last flavor that you're leaving in their mouth as the customer walks out your door, and therefore it becomes very important.
Right. So usually those are the only three end of the meal, drinks that you would finish it off with. And if you already have a great wine selection, that's great. You have great coffee, that's good. But you don't want to miss that other 33% of the people who are the tea drinkers. So you would want to have a good, tea to offer them.
Exactly.
Okay.
The standard service for higher end establishments for tea is the tea box. It's a wooden box with an assortment of tea bags.
Right.
There's two problems that I have with the box. The first is in the quality of the tea. Any tea that is in a bag has been ground up, and like any food product, once it's ground, it dies. Tea that's been ground up actually looks like dust. It was once whole leaf, it was once something natural, and is now ground up, and it loses its taste, it loses its flavor, and it loses its health properties. So now teas that are in bags have to be pumped with artificial flavoring and colorants and all this stuff to get anything out of it. The second reason I don't like the tea box presentation is the box is not very informative. I pick up a bag of tea, and what I see is writing on a colored piece of paper. It tells me words that I could find on a line on your menu. Now, I don't know what the tea looks like. I don't know what the tea smells like. I don't know what the tea tastes like, because this is sealed, and it's just some writing on a color. I know the color of the packet that it's in, basically. That's what the box is doing.
And just like in wine, when you swirl, you want to smell it, you want to see it. Those are very important, presentations in a wine if the customer is going to like it.
Exactly. Now, the Benjamine Tea display that I've developed does exactly that. It allows you to see the tea and allows you to taste the tea. My display concept is a board that has magnetic tins on top. There's a handle on the back. This is designed to be brought out as instead of the tea box. So the tins are magnetic. They will not fall off. This is pretty lightweight. You would set it in front of your customers, and the tins have a clear top so the customer can see the tea. You can open the tins, you can smell the tea, and also there's labels to tell you the ingredients of the teas. So now you're completely informed about what you're going to buy.
Yeah, so it has the caffeine free.
Correct.
And caffeine, whether it's herbal tea.
Correct.
I can actually see the product. I can actually smell it, and then opposed to the difference of it would be, what would you rather what would you rather be looking at?
It's an easy choice. It's an easy choice.
All right.
The second thing that the display board does, other than inform the customer, is that it produces a wow effect. Customers are not expecting this. I'm a new company, I'm small, I'm boutique, so this is not very widely spread. So when you bring this out, customers are impressed and they say, wow, this is so cool, I haven't seen this before. And given that tea is the last thing that they're going to have, and it's the last impression you're making, getting a wow effect from your tea, and the last detail is priceless because you're exceeding your customers' expectations.
It's like pouring from the the wine from the candle underneath to catch the settlement. They like that wow presentation. You got a nice, beautiful presentation with Benjamine Tea.
That's exactly it.
Right.
Let me talk about the quality of the tea briefly, and then how you serve loose tea efficiently.
Okay.
Firstly, I carry every category of tea. I have fruit teas, I have herbal teas, I have red teas, I have whites, I have greens, I have blacks, and I have oolong teas. I carry 52 blends of tea.
Okay.
My fruit teas are all whole fruit and nuts. My roasted almond, for example, is apple pieces, plain and crushed almonds, cinnamon pieces, and beetroot pieces.
And these are all information on the back of each?
Correct. These are on the back. My fruit teas are completely edible because it's all dry fruit and nuts. So you can munch on this. There's no added preservatives. There's no chemicals you should be worried about.
You can actually eat these.
You can eat the fruit teas. That's not fruit, but you can you can eat the fruit teas. You can eat the roasted almonds. My chamomile, for example, chamomile is an herbal tea, and what you'll find
actually
is
very
that
good. If your customer prefer an after meal
snack.
You can offer this as well.
Yeah,
So,
it's an added benefit. My herbal teas, my chamomile, for example, you will find that is it's hand-picked, it's organically grown, and it's whole flowers, and the petals are still on there. This is not chamomile dust. This is as good and as natural as they come. Your health properties are there, your flavor is there, your smell and everything else is there. On some of my blends, you'll see something called natural flavoring, and I want to talk to you about what that is.
Yeah.
The best example is Earl Grey. The flavoring in an Earl Grey tea is bergamot. Bergamot is a flower. This particular bergamot comes from the south of France, which is the best place for bergamot. And
from the Burgundy region.
Correct. So what they do is they pick the flowers, they crush the flowers and extract the oils.
Okay.
So you have bergamot oil extracts, and then you take the black tea and you bathe it in the oil extracts, and that is natural flavoring. Same process with some of the mints, same process goes for the flavoring of all the teas. It's not added chemicals, it's not artificial flavoring, it's not powders, it's oils. It's oil extracts. So you get an extremely aromatic flavor in each one of these. Lastly, how do you serve loose tea efficiently in a high-end restaurant?
Okay.
Most people are scared to hear about loose tea, but I think there's quite a number of ways to do it efficiently. Some restaurants prefer teapots. There's a variety of teapots, different shapes, sizes, different price points. I find that the teapots are a little bit pricey in terms of operation, and they're hard to use. So I recommend two ways of serving Benjamine tea.
Okay.
Before I begin, your teas, your display is for display purposes only. You would not be serving tea out of here because people are putting their nose in it.
Okay.
Your physical tea,
That's a good point.
yeah, your physical tea would be in tins in the back. This is an airtight tin. It's designed for tea. It will keep the tea fresh in here for at least 9 months. That's an airtight seal on the tin of it. And the tin holds 40 servings of tea. Okay. So what you would do when you serve the tea is somebody would pick the blend that they want. You would go to the back. You would open the tin. My first recommendation is an infuser. It's a classic, standard way of serving tea in Europe. You open your tin. You get a teaspoon of tea. You squeeze open your infuser. Tea goes in there, and this would go into a cup of hot water like this. Now, what I recommend is I strongly recommend that you serve the infuser with the tea to the customer for a couple of reasons. Firstly, people love to play with their food, and when they have the infuser, they're playing with their tea.
Correct.
And they're part of making the process. They're part of the process of making their own tea, which is really cool.
Yes.
And also, they can control the strength of their tea.
Okay.
So there's practical reasons and other reasons for this kind of service. My second recommendation, which is quite a new contraption. It's called the Magic Teapot. It just came out a couple of months ago, actually. It's a teapot that has a mesh filter on the bottom.
Okay.
There's
kind of like a press, kind of like a coffee press?
Looks like a coffee press. It looks
Okay.
like a coffee press. There's 4 legs that are attached to the bottom,
Okay.
so you could sit it on the table. But what this does is it has a weight sensor mechanism,
Okay.
and it will release the tea into the cup when it senses its own weight. So I'll show you how it works.
Yeah.
You pour some hot water in there, and again, 1 teaspoon of tea. You would allow that to brew for a few minutes, and once it's brewed, you would put it on top of a cup of hot water, and the tea will release by itself. If you pick it up, it'll stop.
Oh.
So it's a very nifty contraption, a cool way to serve loose tea. It's extremely easy to clean. It's extremely durable. It's very sturdy plastic. There's no moving parts.
So how does that, as far as a regular teacup, is that something to use for a regular teacup, or would this be more for the retail industry? This you would prefer more for the restaurants?
That's a good question. This can be used for both. So some of the establishments that I work with will bring this out, and then they will bring an empty cup next to it.
Okay.
And then the customer can fill their own cup. So again, they're part of making their own tea. This is cool for retail as well. So it's 16 ounces, so you get a good amount of tea. You probably get at least 2, if not 3 cups of tea. It's a good amount of tea. These are my recommendations for service. My goal is always efficiency, both in operation and in cost. So my overall goal for Benjamine Teas is that your tea product is the best that it can be, and that you are able to impress your customers with the last detail. If you're doing everything else right, you have a nice place, you have excellent service, why not have the best possible tea and make an exclamation mark as your customer leaves your establishment?
Well, great. Well, like I said, you captured on there's the 33% of the after dinner. You have your wine customers, you'll have your coffee customers, you'll have your tea customers. You've already got 66% of them covered. Let's cover that other 33%, and let's make it a wow factor here with Benjamine Teas. So, all that information, Benjamine Teas information is right here. You'll get it all right down here below us. And if you have any questions, or if you want anything, talk anything about these products, Benjamin will be more than glad to come out and visit you. And hopefully, you'll get some of this tea in your establishment. Once again, I thank you very much, Benjamin.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll go ahead and we'll see you next time on Bottled Grapes.